Well, Brampton City Council has approved their 2026 budget. There's no increase in the city's portion of property taxes, although Peel Region is increasing its share of the tax bill by 3.36%. Brampton is continuing with a 1% levy to support completion of a second hospital. Joining us now with more on this is Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown. Thanks for joining us here on a Saturday morning, a chilly Saturday morning. So what's the reception been from people living in Brampton about this announcement about the property tax increase?
Well, originally, 30 days ago, when the budget process started, we introduced a 1.5% increase, which really reflected the collective agreements. But we had coffee chats, town halls, and people were really struggling with affordability. And the feedback was sharpen your pencils further, find savings, find efficiencies. People are struggling, whether it's inflation, whether it's tariffs, high interest rates. It's a tough time for families and businesses. And so we responded. We put forward a series of amendments in our budget to get the city portion down to zero. And, that's not easy. Usually the starting point for a city budget just to keep services the same is about 5%. But we found a way to really meet this affordability crisis by bringing in a 0% on the city portion, while, of course, maintaining our 1% a second hospital levy, which is required by the province to get our second hospital built, and that construction starts this summer, so we don't want to slow that down.
Right, and so what is the timeline with that second hospital? Because it's so important for a community that continues just to grow so rapidly.
Yeah, if there's ever a city that needed a second hospital, it's ours. And under the provincial funding formula, we have to pay for 10% of the cost of the hospital and for all the equipment inside. That's why we're so busy fundraising. It's why we have this levy. The official sod turning already happened, but full construction won't occur until the summer. And it's going to take about 4 to 5 years for the construction to be complete, although I'm pushing the province and Infrastructure Ontario to be as quick as possible because we needed that hospital yesterday.
And, okay, let's pivot now. You just released a statement about Project South, obviously something that sent ripple effects to law enforcement throughout the province. For people watching now, do you want to reiterate your statement and kind of explain a little bit more about how you feel about some of the findings?
Well, for the officers in York Region and Toronto that were involved in this, obviously, it's deplorable. And, I am happy that we live in a jurisdiction that has police oversight. I'd say Ontario has more police oversight than anywhere else in North America. That's why we have the SIU and bad apples get caught. But let me also say that 99.99% of police officers are in it for the right reasons. They run towards danger when everyone else runs away. And this should not be used as a moment to disparage policing. I think it really shows how the system works, that if there is bad apples, they get caught. And, I continue to have a debt of gratitude and appreciation for the men and women that work in Peel Regional Police and for policing in Ontario, because I think by and large, they do an incredible job.
And back to the budget then, with that, the respect we have for law enforcement, where does the budget land in terms of policing in Peel Region to make sure that it continues to be, fruitful and efficient?
So on the policing front, that's done through our regional budget, and the regional increase was largely just for policing. We're engaging an additional 200 officers this year. We've made major investments in our intimate partner violence unit. 5 years ago, we didn't have an intimate partner violence unit for the scourge of domestic violence, and now we have 70 officers that work in that unit. We're also opening, a new safe center in Mississauga, and so we want to equip the police with the tools to do their job. We've obviously had to put a lot of resources into extortions and combating transnational crime, and it really speaks to how difficult policing is. Our police have to deal with some very scary individuals to keep us safe, so we can sleep, easily at night. And I've got a debt of gratitude for the danger they take on for us.
And budgets are weird. They're very huge documents. The city released it. We try to kind of sift through it to try to find some nuggets there. Is there something in there that you're particularly proud of in this budget that you want to tell people living in Brampton, say, hey, we're putting money aside for this initiative, and you're happy about it, and you hope that they receive it as well?
For sure. You know, one thing I would highlight is our investments in recreation. I believe that building new recreation is preventative healthcare 101. If you lead healthy, active lives, you know, hopefully it reduces the reliance on the hospital system. And so we have new investments in recreation, a new rec center in the west end of Brampton, Embleton. We're building a new rec center in the east, the Bramalea portion of the city, with the Howden Rec Center, and some more outdoor ice rinks for the community to enjoy, new playgrounds. And so if there's one area where there is, you know, investments and spending, it continues to be in recreation. I want to make sure every corner of our city has access to quality recreation.
Yeah, all year round as well, as you mentioned, yeah, skating rinks, stuff like that. You got to embrace this winter, no doubt.
Absolutely. We've got more winterized facilities too. We're even building a winterized cricket dome. So lots of good things happening on the recreation front.
Hey, sports 365, yeah, especially in cricket, no doubt. There is no off season. All right, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.